Our audience is largely made up of meeting professionals, not everybody, but we have a lot of listeners and viewers that are meeting professionals, people that you work with on an intimate
Mm-hmm.
basis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Take your work and kind of the core thesis of what you're doing and where you see that meeting professionals can grab on and hold to something. Because here's an interesting fact that I've learned on my podcast, on our podcast, on this podcast, from having meeting professionals as guests, people who have been meeting professionals for 20 years. They run events that are 20, 30 hotels, 8,000
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of vendors and expos and speakers and breakout sessions. Many have told me with a very straight face, I'm an introvert and I'd rather be alone.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
profession, in an industry, literally where, wait for it, events are called connected.
Yes.
So
Yes. So,
dial us into
oh,
that.
such a great question. I would love to talk about this for another hour, Seth. This is so great. I mean, from a very practical craft level first, from the career perspective, every single event we plan, we want to look at the triangle. In what ways are we building out and reverse engineering the positive emotions? In what ways are we practicing different ways of consistency? Consistency in an event looks like, are we doing breakouts? Are we doing big group things? Are we doing ways for people to connect smaller? And so trying to think through all the different ways people can spend time with each other. And then vulnerability is, how do we make sure that people are really walking away, building relationships, knowing each other, feeling seen? And so no matter if our event is 5 people or 20,000 people, it's such a fun practice to sit down and just be like, okay, what do I want them to feel? What are the positive emotions I want them to feel? Now, what can I do to help make that happen? Where are the chances for them to really know each other? Where are the chances for them to connect? So I love doing consulting and helping create meaningful event planning based on the triangle, which is so fun. From a personal level, this is really important because a lot of our meeting planners have to do so many relationships and they have to stay in touch with so many
Yeah.
people. And it does take so much energy. And I would say be really, really cognizant about what you need as a person, as a human being in the relationship world versus what you're doing from a career perspective to build the events and your job. And what I mean by that is, from a personal perspective, be really, really clear. Who are your friends? Who are the people you are prioritizing? Who are you practicing consistency with? Who is a handful of people that you're just like, I do have to stay in touch with this broad group of people. And that we can talk about how to manage energy around all of that. But more importantly, is making sure your relationships are filled and that you're not seeing, just because here's the thing, is so many of us, I describe it as being socially obese. We're getting enough calories. In fact, some of us are coming home from our careers having eaten way too many
Right.
calories throughout the day, but it's
Right.
potato chips and it's junk food and it's interactions and it's small talk and it's team meetings and it's all this stuff. But at the end of the day, we can be gorged and full and just want alone time. And yet we can still be malnourished because we never got meaningful connection the way we need it. So it's
That's
our
really
job to
beautiful.
really
Yeah.
make sure that we're taking care of getting ourselves the social nourishment that we need. So yeah, I would really say those are the two things that jump out at me.